So in this video, we're going to talk about tapers for the Haas mill. If you recognize these, this is a Morris taper used on our lathes. This is an R8 used on our manual milling machines. This is an ER25, which you should be familiar with the ShopBot. And this is a 40 taper. Notice the larger surface area. This gives it more gripping power. This is a much more rigid tool, so we have less tool flex, less chatter in the piece itself. Beyond the taper, it has two dog ears, two little spaces. Those lock into the spindle. We'll talk about those when we start loading the tools in. It also has a pull stud on the end. This pull stud is what the machine actually uses to pull the tool into the holder. Sort of like in the R8 tools, the drawbar. Never try to insert a tool holder into the Haas without the pull stud. This is how the tapers come. Notice they're threaded in the end. The pull stud is a separate piece. To insert these, we're going to hand thread them in. And then we're going to have a jig. This lives in the tool cabinet. We just lock it into the vise. This black section of it allows us to lock a tool in horizontally. Then we can take a wrench and tighten the pull stud. Just snug it up. You don't really need to wail on it, hit it with a hammer. Just tighten it where it's good and tight. This tool is now ready to go into the mill. If we want to place a tool in here, with our end mills, we'll show you two different end mills here. Here's a 2-flute carbide end mill. One thing I want you to notice on the shank of this, that it's round all the way across it. There's no flat spot. For this tool holder, there's a set screw. You must have a flat spot on the shank of your tool for this to hold. If I put this in here and crank down on it, as it's cutting, it'll either move in or out. So we've got a second tool. This happens to be a 4-flute double end mill. But notice this flat here. The best way to put these tools in is to remove the set screw completely, slide the tool in so that you can see the flat spot in the hole for the set screw. Then hand thread the set screw in, making sure you don't cross feed it. Once we've got it there, we're going to go back to our jig, hold that using an Allen screw or an Allen key. We're going to tighten that up, make sure it's good and snug. Again, you don't need to get a wrench on it or really hard, just a good snug to it, and that will fit the tool in. In addition, we have a 40 taper with an adapter to hold the ER25 collets. These work just like the ShopBot. The collet goes in, snaps into place, and then this threads on. Remember, the same thing as the nose of the ShopBot. Now for this one, here I've got a 1/4-inch ball mill. Because this is an ER25 collet, we don't need the flat spot. It just simply goes in and grips it. But what we want to make sure we never do is, once we have this in, never put this into the spindle of the mill and then try to tighten it. Doing that can actually torque the spindle of the mill and cause damage. So we go back to our blue little jig here, and we've got a vertical attachment. This locks in. Notice the little ears on the side. That keeps it from rotating. At which point we can take our wrench and snug this up just like we would on the ShopBot. This just holds it from spinning. Additionally, here we have a 40 taper with a Jacob's chuck. Never put this into the spindle and then try to put a drill bit into it. Bring it over, put it in the jig, tighten the spindle here.